Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I got a review for you. This is going to be my review on Dark Horse Comics, Parasomnia, issue number 4. It's, written by Cullen, Bunn, art by Andrew Mutti, and letters by Simon Bowland. And that's it. I was like, that's because Andrew Mutti also for the colors. Andrew Mutti also does the colors, of course. His watercolors are famous. I thought this was the last issue. It is not, so it might be a 5-issue run. I thought it was a 4, but that's cool to me. I'm enjoying the story. Again, it's a great comic. Basically, it's a twofold story, one in the dream world and one in the real world, or it could be vice versa, where this is the real world and this is the dream world. The question, is in the book as you are reading, and it constantly kind of, puts that question in your mind. What are we really following? Because they do show moments that look a lot like the real world, and we are following a father in this world and the grandfather in another world, but basically on the same track they are trying to recover missing children. If you take the story for a whole, and this is the same character, they're basically looking for the same child kidnapped by the same lady. Just one is in the real world and one is in the dream world, both affecting each other. The bad guy being they call her the Faceless Queen, and we have seen her, and she's got like this kind of like cult following, and it seems like they've been stealing children for a while. Again, the story has been constantly on this journey of the grandfather, the father in the real world, and he is, he is still on the lookout for his missing son. And we do see that some of the Faceless Queens men are kind of, they found out where he is, and they're after him. They're trying to get rid of, any witnesses or specifically the parents related to the children. They do go back to a scene from the 3rd issue where the wife of the husband was, accosted at her house. Some guys broke in the middle of the night, and she ended up killing one of the guys. Fighting back, and now the police are there investigating the murder, asking her about if she knew him, that kind of stuff, and of course she doesn't. But now she has put two and two together that the guy belongs with the Faceless Queen, and that it is something larger, and the police making that connection as well. They do state that they're going to try and take her in protective custody to keep her safe, and her hearing that presents a big red flag to her, and she ends up jutting out the window, not trusting the cop. But the cop does show, kind of some seedy stuff, especially like the whole, like, hey, let's take you into protective custody. Like, when does that happen? When they take the parent of a child into protect? I don't know. So we jump back over to the dream world, and in the last issue, our main character is traveling with an American Indian, the ghost that is with him. I think his name is Kanawaki, and they are basically in the last issue they released a bunch of the children, hoping to find his child, but he did not. But he did rescue a bunch of the other children, and it happened to be the same village that they were in, so it ended up helping, because at first the whole village was against him, calling him an outsider and this and that, and he ends up freeing the children, and it ends up being, all the children that belong to the village, so now the villagers are on board. In the beginning of the story, they did call the authorities and told them that they had captured the usurper, or they have different titles for him, but basically the bad guy, and they have shown up now, kind of calling out to the crowd, like, hey, y'all call me, where is he? And the villagers even stayed like, well, we thought he was a bad guy, but he showed up and he freed a bunch of our kids, and basically the authority just saying that they are going against the Faceless Queen, so now they're kind of in the mix too. They do start looking for our main character and the American Indian fellow. They do find him, but they are found first. That basically, our hero and the American Indian they basically assassin, you know, most of the guys that are looking for him, and eventually they do confront everybody, and it's this kind of a, it's stated like he doesn't want to fight them and spill their blood. He's not really looking for them. He just wants information on the kid, and he's going to do anything, you know, he needs to do. And they just don't take that precaution, and they all in there they you know they all get killed basically. And eventually they do capture one where he's holding him to a knife point, asking him about the boy, and the guy is about to reveal the location of the boy. And as he's doing that, all of a sudden he kind of like fades away, and they do know that they are in this dream world. But I have to assume that this is the guy that was murdered in the real world, and that's kind of why he's like fading away. At the same time, we see a flock of like a plague of beetles that kind of fly in out of nowhere. They kind of mess with the villagers and then fly away, not really causing a whole lot of damage or anything, but just kind of random. But it is a dream world, but they do state that it is kind of random. They kind of do this thing where they do say their final goodbyes, and the kids are shown you know, regrouping with all the families, and you know, the main character does state that some of the kids were lost, and you know, they were sacrificed by the bad guys basically, and him stating that their ghost will come back to either haunt or love the families, depending on how they were given away, because some of the kids were given away for protection. Like they thought if they sacrificed their child, they were told they would be under this veil of protection kind of thing. So we jump back over to, of course, our faceless queen. They've shown her bits and pieces here and there of her, but we do see that this girl that's with her is dreaming, and we do see that she was daydreaming, and we see like by her on the windowsill where she was dreaming that there are some beetles. So it kind of looks like that this might be the girl that's controlling the dreams, and the faceless queen is just kind of using this girl's powers kind of thing. It's hinted at numerous times whether the other world is the dream world or the real world looking, you know, to the reader or the viewer, you know, I mean, because this does look like the real world to me, but the book does state, you know, we don't know currently which one is the other, the real or the dream world. But these guys that are after our main hero in the real world, they have kind of caught up to him, and sneakily he kind of lets them know that he knows that they're following him kind of thing, and they get spooked out for a second, and then they kind of like double back, and they're like, well, we have to get him. And they kind of lost him in an alley. When they cut back over to the alley, we see this, and he has changed into his dream form, it looks like, and it only stays that way for a second, because over here you do see that like he ends up slashing this one guy, and he steps on him, and when he steps on him, we can see like a regular, you know, he's back to his regular world, you know, appearance, and basically he's just asking for more information about the boy. In the dream world, they are following the beetles, and in the real world, one of the guys that he ends up accosting ends up giving him a little bit of information there, but it's both south is the direction that they are leading, with both worlds kind of being connected. But we do also see that the faceless queen is in fact you know, heading south, or you know, she already is south, and that's where the book's like it looks like it's going. I'm assuming there is another issue, because this is where this book leaves off. It does say to be continued. As I knew it, it was only going to be a 4-issue series, so they might have just extended it to a 5th, or the to be continued could be a volume 2. I really hope not. I hope we get a 5th issue, because I'd like to see where the story is going. But overall, a really good issue. The art is just amazing. The use of both the dream and the real kind of you know, it really makes you second guess, you know, and go back to certain scenes trying to figure out between the real and the dream world. And it's nice because it's done in not a confusing way. It's not a book that you have to go back and forth on, really. You can, I mean, I pick it up, start it, read it, and you know, there's never a moment I've had to like, wait a minute, you know. It's done really well. But that's my review. Please like, comment, subscribe, you know. hit that bell. I warn you, if you hit that bell, I drop a lot. But that doesn't mean you have to watch everything I drop. You know, watch what you like, that kind of thing. But support who you want to support, kind of thing. I got more coming. I'll be back. Bye, guys.